In this video, we're going to break down the different types of ways that you can make money through deal sourcing.
Also, we're going to break down all the different extra ways you can monetize each deal on top of when you get paid, and hang around to the end because we're going to break down how you can get paid multiple times from selling one deal.
So to start with, there's two main ways that you can sell property deals. That's source to order or source into a list. So source to order or bespoke sourcing is where you have an investor give you a specific criteria of what deals they want and you go out and find those deals. Source into a list is where you've got a list of investors. You go out and find different types of good property deals. You post it out to that list and you have investors reaching out and inquiring about that deal, and then you sell it to an investor.
So those are the two different ways that you can source deals, but there are three potential roles that you can do in deal sourcing. The first one is just deal sourcing. So from start to finish, finding the deal, finding the investor, putting the two together and charging the fee.
The second way is co-sourcing. So this is where you found a good property deal, but you don't have an investor. So you work with someone who has got an investor and you sell the deals together and you go 50-50 on the sourcing fee.
And the third way, which is, in my opinion, the best way, but you cannot ever start by doing this. You have to really build your reputation up, and it takes years of doing the other ways until you can get to this position, and that's middleman sourcing. That's what we do. So we have a massive list of investors and people bring us deals. We analyze those deals and then we sell them to our investors. So we don't have to go out looking for deals. We don't have to do anything like that. Our team analyzes them, make sure they're not dog shit basically, make sure they're amazing, and then we sell them to our investors. So those are the three ways. So just literally deal sourcing, co-sourcing and middleman sourcing. Now, what I would do if I was starting out is I would work with a co-sourcer. So I would find someone who has a big list of investors. I would bring them deals, get them to sell the deal. Then I could use that deal sold as social proof, experience, and I'll gain knowledge, and I could show other investors the deals that I've sold, and then I would start going into deal sourcing from start to finish. And I would keep doing that and doing that and doing that as well, working with co-sourcers until I can get to a point where I've got such a big list of investors where the deals come to me.
Before we carry on, if you guys want to partner with us and make some money together, then join the Dealers Club. This is where we teach you how to find property deals. We then sell the deals to our investors and we split the sourcing fee that we charge the investor 50-50 with the person who brought us a deal. The average deal that we sell, we charge a £5,000 fee to the investor. So that's £2.5 grand for us, £2.5 grand for you. We've got around 15,000 investors that are hungry, looking for deals, and we need you guys to bring us deals so that we can sell them to those investors. Check out the links in the description. Let's get back to the video. So just to break it down and make it very simple, at the very beginning, you might not have investors. So co-sourcing with someone who has got investors is probably the easiest way to get started. Once you build up your own social proof and build your own list of investors, you can start doing deal sourcing full time, where you find the property deals and you sell them to the investors. And then eventually you'll start having people bringing you property deals that you can sell to your investors, because over time you've built up a massive list.
So we broke down the two ways that you can source and the different roles in deal sourcing that you can do. Typically on these deals, you'll charge 3 to 5 grand. We typically charge 4 to 5 grand. We'd never really charge 3 grand, but those are the sorts of fees you can get. But what many people don't talk about is all the other ways that you can monetize this. There's so many other ways to monetize. So we're going to break down all the ways to monetize it. And don't forget, hang around to the end, because we've got something for you. Don't hang around to the end.
Yeah, why are you even here? Just leave.
And hang around to the end, because obviously, like I said earlier, we're going to show you how to get paid multiple times per deal.
So one of the extra ways that you can monetize a deal sold is referring your broker to the investor and getting a kickback from the broker.
So obviously you'll need to speak to your broker first. Most important thing, if you're referring anyone, they can't be crap. Like, their crapness is going to make you look crap. So once you found someone who is actually good and not crap, but then you can speak to them and say, look, what sort of kickback can I get if I refer you a lot of business? So typically you won't get paid that much from mortgages. You'll get a little kickback, which is just extra money for the business. But if there's a bridging loans or development finance, that's when you start getting paid a lot more. It just depends on the deal. So another thing that you can do is refer a solicitor. Again, they can't be slow. Most solicitors are slow, so take that with a pinch of salt, but you know, make sure they're good. You can also refer the agents. So you can say, look, say for example, it's a flip. That if I sell the property through you guys, would you give me a kickback? If I agree with you that my investor sells the flip deal with you, can I get a kickback? And then if yes, yes. So that would be great. Or you can refer the management. If I make sure that my investor goes with you for the management, could I get first month's rent as a fee, or half a month's rent or whatever? It's added money to the business.
Another thing you can do is refer a builder. So let's say you're going to be doing a refurb, you can refer a builder to do that and get a kickback from them.
Yeah, so a builder is the most important. That they can't be crap, like that, because that will fuck up the whole deal. So you need to make sure that you're referring a good builder. You probably be on good terms with them, to be good friends with them, and you know that they wouldn't let you down. And you say, look, I've got this deal, it's going to be a 30 grand refurb. Do you want to sort me out 250 quid, 500 quid? Come on. You know what I mean? Like, they're probably going to say yes. So if if you're picking up these 200, 300, 400 pounds, you could be earning an extra 1,500 per deal. So it does add up.
And also you can refer a lease provider if you're going to be putting a lease provider into the property.
Yeah, so one of my pals literally speaks to landlords and then it refers lease providers. I think they pay him like either £1,000 or £2,000. All these little things add up.
So if every deal you look at that list that we just gave you, for example, and you can think, which ones can I add to this deal? All of that's going to add up and it's going to make you make more money per deal that you sell.
And there's loads of other ones as well, like a website that helps you set up a company for your business. So you do referral, all of these little things that you can do. We don't bother with that stuff, but it's just added stuff that you can do. So those are all the things that you can refer to earn some money, but there's more ways of monetizing deals.
You can project manage the refurbs.
Typically people charge like 10%. So if it's a 30 grand refurb and you are experienced in managing refurbs, you can charge 10%. So that's like 3 grand on top. If you're not experienced in managing refurbs, do not do this. Like, just don't do this. Find an actual good project manager. Another thing that you can do is manage the properties. Say for example, you have service accommodation company or you manage property. You can source the deal and then manage it. So if you haven't got experience in this, again, don't do it. And to be honest, a management company is not something that I would want to do, and anyone that does it, I do not envy them. But some people love it. You can keep getting paid every single month after you've sold the deal.
So those are loads of little extra ways that you can monetize each deal.
Now we're going to show you how you can get paid multiple sourcing fees on top of the different ways you can make income from each deal. We're going to keep this one very short. I hope you found it helpful. But what you can do is, say for example, you source a buy-to-let deal or you source a BRR deal to somebody and you charge a 5 grand fee. You can then pitch to that investor and say, I've got someone who wants to offer you guaranteed rent for 5 years. Then you can then sell that deal as a rent to another investor and then pick up another 5 grand fee. So that way you've gave the investor a great deal. They've pulled their money out, or most of their money out, from a BRR deal. So let's say, for example, you've sold an amazing deal to an investor. They've pulled out all their money. They're ready to go on another one, and it's a great BRR deal, and you've charged 5 grand for that. Also, on top of that, we're going to guarantee your rent. We've got a company here that will guarantee your rent. Instead of you having to deal with tenants, you just deal with them and they do all the management. So then you sell that to another investor and they get a great deal. They get a rent-to-rent deal. They can, for example, put it on Airbnb or rent it room by room, and then you charge that investor 5 grand. Then what you can do is, if you have a management company, you can then manage that deal for service accommodation, for example, or room by room, whatever you want to do. So as you can see, you can sometimes get paid 2 sourcing fees where it's beneficial for you, it's beneficial for the original investor because they're getting guaranteed rent on top of their amazing deal that they pulled most of their money out. And it's beneficial for someone who wants to get into rent-to-rent, or maybe they have multiple rent-to-rents already and they just want to add to their portfolio.
This is a win-win situation for everyone. So the investor who's bought the BRR deal has got a great property or great investment property, and it's also in a great place that will work on Airbnb, for example. So then the investor who's looking to get a rent-to-rent, they've also got a great deal.
We personally don't really do that. If something works on Airbnb, for example, and it's a BRR, we'll just sell it as a BRR to SA, and then we'll just get a management company in there. But some investors would just prefer to have less rent, knowing it's guaranteed and it's all taken care of, and the risk is on the rent-to-rent company. So totally up to you what you want to do, and totally depends on what the investor prefers. But hope you found this helpful. See you.